nice live chat. How about that? Come on, laptop. Time to do some work. Just bear with me a moment. Here we go. Hopefully that will be it. Yes, we're live. Good to see you. Welcome, Brooks's Space Corner, live chat number 63 on a Tuesday evening from a cold London town here in the UK. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Hi, Steffi. Hi, Stacey. Good to see you both. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for getting involved. Good to see you. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're safe and well. Hope your bass playing's going great. This is Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 63. Got any questions about basses, bass guitars, amplifiers, speakers, combos, gig bags, strings, accessories, effect pedals, cleaning materials? You'll see we're back in the bass room tonight, not on the in the workshop like we have been for the past couple of weeks. I thought we'd change it up a bit. I actually put a question out on the community tab yesterday to gauge opinion. Should we do it back in the bass room or carry on in the garage in the workshop? And one person voted, and they voted that we were in here. So I'll take that as a 100% positive. We're back in here. So here we are. Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat 63. So if you've not been here on a live chat before, I'll give you a quick rundown how it all works. It's very simple, really. It's a two-way conversation. If you're just watching the video, enjoying the live chat that goes on in the live chat window, then feel free. That's cool. If you want to get involved, it's really easy. So if you're on the mobile app, this is the video window. Directly below is the live chat window. If you're on the desktop version, it's that way. And how does it work? Well, you just basically put your cursor or your pointer or whatever you want to call it in the live chat window, type your message, press send, and it then appears here on my live chat window. And as soon as I see that message, I can respond to it. At the bottom of the live chat window, you'll see an emoji icon, so feel free to hit those as much as you like. It works with the YouTube algorithm, so it shows the algorithm that you're getting involved in the conversation. So feel free to give the emoji icon an absolute pummeling. Next to that, you'll see a dollar symbol. That's called Super Chat. That allows you to make a financial contribution to the channel, should you wish to do so. Watching the video is free. Watching all the videos on the channel is free. But this is a monetized channel, so everything you see featured in the videos, whether it's basses, amps, pedals, all the stuff on the workshop videos that we've been doing, all those products, they all have to be paid for. I don't get any stuff given to me for free. So if you wish to make a financial contribution and keep the channel rolling, that's very much appreciated in advance. Underneath the video window, you've got a row of icons. There's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Please give the video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. Give any videos on the channel a thumbs up if you enjoy them. It all helps. It all lubricates the wheels of the algorithm. If you're going to give the video a thumbs down, then please leave a comment in the comments box, so at least I know why you don't like the video or you don't like the channel. I can only make the videos better if I know what the problems are. Next to that, I think you see the share arrow, so you can share this video out to social media, email, websites, wherever you wish. There's a save button. There's a shop button or store that will bring up a list of Brooks's Bass Corner branded merchandise on the right hand side of your window. And then next to that, you'll see a love heart and a dollar symbol inside it. That's called Super Thanks. Works exactly the same as Super Chat. Again, allows you to make a financial contribution to the channel should you wish to do so. And every video on the channel here has the Super Thanks option. So if you find a video and you find it really helpful, solves a problem maybe that you've got either with your bass playing or your gear or what have you, if you wish to help the channel out, that's the perfect way to do it. Underneath those icons, you've then got the description box. So in there, you'll find merchandise links to the UK and European store and the US and worldwide store. There are no promotions at the moment. Last promotion finished on Sunday. So everything's back to standard pricing, standard delivery. In there, you'll find caps, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, beer glasses, water bottles, hats, bucket hats, beanie hats, phone cases, iPad cases, lunch boxes, 1,000,001 items with Brooks's Base Corner merchandising. So if you wish to help the channel out, buying the merchandise is a great way to do that. You get something for your money. And although we don't get the full fee that you pay, a percentage of the sale price comes back to the channel. Underneath the merchandise links, you'll find affiliate links for Amazon, Thomann, Gear for Music, and Andertons. So if you've got a bass related purchase coming up, maybe a new bass, new amp, pedals, strings, gig bags, accessories, cleaning materials, again, you can help the channel out. Use those affiliate links, find the item you want, add it to your basket, go through with the purchase, and then the channel receives a very small affiliate commission, and those small affiliate commissions end up becoming a larger amount that then helps the channel keep going. Underneath the affiliate links, you'll find the social media links. You find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Be Real, Reddit, Quora, Discord, TikTok, and Threads. And I think that's the seller. Andy, good to see you. Good day, Brooke. I'm guessing you're in Australia. Could be wrong. I know you've been here on the channel before. I can't remember. So many people come and go on the channel. It's hard to remember where everyone is based. But I hope you're well. Hope your bass playing's going good. So if you've got any questions, it's a two-way conversation. If you guys don't fire any conversation, any questions at me, then it's a very one-sided chat. So yeah, Andy's down under. Very good. So yeah, if you've got some questions, put them in the live chat window and I will respond to them as soon as I see them. So if you've got any questions about the last couple of weeks live chats that we've done from the workshop, so we were setting up various basses, restringing, doing proper setups, action, intonation, pickup heights, checking the frets, all of that stuff. If you've got any questions about any of the products I use, how I do it, why I do it, then fire away. And again, I'll respond or give you some advice based on what you ask. So what have I been up to? So we had an Uncle Funk show on Friday down at the Hippodrome Theatre in Eastbourne, which was great. And en route to there, I popped into Rotor Sound and I collected a string order that I'd purchased during the week. There's no point paying for shipping and carriage when you're going to be driving past their front door. So yeah, I popped in. Didn't see Jason. Jason was out, but I saw the fabulous Jack Dunwoody. Thank you very much, sir, for bringing my bag of strings down. Very much appreciated. Patrick Mason 247. Hi, good to see you. Don't think you've been here before. Hi, I'm looking for an amp head under £700. Well, there's plenty of those that takes drive and distortion really well. Any suggestions? Are you buying new, Patrick, or second-hand? Okay. So drive and distortion, in an ideal world, you wouldn't turn away a dark glass amp, I'm suggesting, and you'd certainly find some second-hand versions of the dark glass amps. There's so many models in their range now. Just some canny shopping required on that front. I don't mind new or second-hand. Well, drive and distortion, I think dark glass should be your first port of call. Do you want a Class D amp, or do you want something larger like the things around me here? Or are you looking for tubes, solid state? What are you after, Patrick? Kev Smith, hi. What do you think of the new Beatles track? Think it's record company hype? I will be totally honest with you, Kev. I've never been a huge Beatles fan. I appreciate everything they brought to the music world, and most of us wouldn't be here without the Beatles having existed, but I've never been a huge Beatles fan. I just haven't. Queen were my band, and obviously Queen wouldn't have existed without the Beatles, but I thoroughly appreciate what they did and I can admire what they did, but wrong generation for me. And you think it's record company hype? Well, these things are always going to happen. The fact they've said it's the last track, and then what happens when Paul and Ringo die and they suddenly find a vault of other tracks, you know, it's that thing. It's keeping people interested, keeping them on the wheel, isn't it? Queen do it time and time again, and I'm quite happy to buy into that because Queen are my band. But I haven't listened to it at the moment. That track came out last Thursday. I was really busy last Thursday. I'm trying to remember what I was doing. Thursday. I was editing the video that went up on Friday. So the latest installment of the bass string experiment. That's what I was doing. I wasn't watching the Beatles video or listening to the track. I was editing that video. So yeah, and preparing for my gig on Friday, which, as I was saying before we started on the live chat, was with Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno down at the Hippodrome Theatre in Eastbourne down the south coast. We had a great gig. If you were there, thank you very much for coming along. We had an absolute blast. Hopefully we'll be back sooner than later. I'm guessing it might be a year, so it'll be again this time next year. But I've said to Simon, the uncle, the funkle even, we should be in Eastbourne in the summer when it's busy and it's packed, and we would fill that theatre. So hopefully, if he listens to what I've said, maybe we'll be there in the middle of summer when it's really busy, and I think we could have a blast in that theatre if it was packed. But thank you, everyone that came along. It was very much appreciated. It was a really good night. Really enjoyed it. Hope you like the new bass, the Warwick Bootsy Collins space bass. Patrick, tubes preferably. Okay, well that's going to kind of rule out quite a lot of Class D stuff. But again, I think for driving distortion, you want to be looking at the dark glass. And I can't remember all the different amp variations that they have. So if you could go on somewhere like, for example, Bass Direct, click on amplification, click on dark glass, you can see a list of all their amplifiers. Find something that's got the features you want, then start shopping secondhand. There will be loads of those online secondhand, Patrick. But if you're going for tubes, well, have a look at Ampeg, of course. Maybe a secondhand Mesa Boogie. I keep seeing bass 400s and 400 pluses coming up. Now that used to be the mothership for Mesa Boogie bass gear. They weigh a ton. They've got loads of valves in. I've got the Strategy 888 up here, which is the more modern version of that. This is a 2014 model. This has got loads of valves in it, but it weighs a ton. And that's what happens if you're going to have a tube amp. Unless you're going for something that's just got one tube, like a 12AX7 in the preamp. If you want tubes and heft, there's plenty out there. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there are valve Trace Elliott's going quite cheap. Might be an idea. Again, they weigh a ton. So if weight isn't a problem for you, Patrick, just go on eBay and type in bass amp, and loads of stuff's going to come up. Maybe an Ashdown, you're going to get that warm, and they have tube variants as well. You're probably not going to want something like a Mark bass or what have you. They're kind of clean, even the ones that have got a single valve in the preamp. But for £700, you're easily going to find something really good. You might want to look at something like an EBS Fafner or a Fafner 2, maybe. They're older, like 20-year-old amps, but they got one valve in, but they drive really well. A lot of the European metal bands use EBS gear, so they tend to shop around for these older second-hand amplifiers rather than the smaller Reedmars. But you can get a good drive sound out of a Reedmar as well. Just shopping around, my friend. Have a look on eBay, on YouTube for various video demos. That might help you. Stacey, has the Status Empathy maintained its gloss and luster since using the Maguires? Yes, it has. It's in its bag in the lounge. I know it's only been a week ago, but yeah, it's doing okay. I had a look at it this morning, actually. The strings are nice and fresh. So that bass will be going back in the rack now that we've finished the bass string experiment series. So yeah, it's all good. Wondering if there's any haze with it. Please advise. No, shouldn't be, because I wiped that. Well, I gave it a wipe. This thing, when was that? That was Monday, wasn't it, that we did that? I gave it a wipe on Friday, and then I gave it another wipe today, but there was no haze. It was nice and glossy and looking fabulous. So we did a good job there. Andy, loving that redhead. Talking about that. SWR Super Redhead behind me. Took my 750X out for a spin on the weekend, ran the front end hot. It's got a great tube overdrive. Yeah, certainly has. All of those SWR amps, as long as they don't break down, you're laughing. If they start going wrong, you've got to find a tech locally that's okay with dealing with it, because SWR obviously don't exist anymore. Stacy, don't know if this is a consideration, Patrick Mason 247. Are you talking about Andy's amp there, Stacy? You talking about the SWR that he's referring to? Patrick Mason, yeah, I'm looking through the dark glass right now on my other screen. There's currently an SVT 350H for sale, even though it's solid state. It's tempting. Okay, my advice to you, and I'll say it to anyone watching this live chat, is Ampeg Gear has great legendary status, but they have so many versions of their amps, so many versions. Rack mounts, the old tube in a like a head enclosure. Then you've got the rack mounts. Then you've got the smaller portaflexes. You've got there's so many variations, and I've played through so much Ampeg Gear in my time. Never bought any, but I've played through lots of it, and every time I play through it, it sounds completely different. I've never had two amps that sounded similar at all. And some things, you turn up to a gig and you see this big rack mount Ampeg, and you think, okay, might be in with a good shout today, and it sounds terrible. And then you go to another gig and there might be an old 70s or 80s valve amp in a knackered head enclosure, and you think, okay, it's not going to be great, is it? And it ends up being one of the best bass sounds you've ever had. So Patrick, you're going to buy Ampeg, try it before you buy it, or at least make sure you can return it if it's not what you want. And I'm not degrading Ampeg at all. If Dino's watching, howdy, how you doing? Dino being the boss of Ampeg in America. But yeah, it's been I've never played through two amps that sounded the same. Just haven't. And they're very good at rebranding their amp designs and relaunching with a slightly tweaked spec and what have you. But there is not a guaranteed Ampeg tone. Not to my ears and in my experience. There isn't. People always say the Ampeg tone in terms of valves and what have you. But that's kind of going back to the late 60s and through the 70s. Their amplifiers, maybe into the 80s as well, but consistent, no, not in my book, but that's just a thing, you know. Stacy, I was referring to the Bass Direct link I just posted. There is no link. You can't post links, Stace, on the live chat, unfortunately. I can't even allow it. There isn't an option. You can't post links, unfortunately. Can't post links, can't post pictures, photos, attachments, nothing. You don't have that option. You might have tried to do it, but it won't appear here in the live chat, sadly. Kev Mack, good to see you. Welcome. Hope you're well. So yes, we did that gig on Friday with Uncle Funk. And then Saturday, I went to see Level 42, Hammersmith Odeon. Last night of the UK tour before they went over to Europe. And I have to say, and everyone had been saying online on the socials for 4 weeks, I think that tour was going around, the band's super tight. The set list is fabulous. The production is some of the best production they've had in years. And I was like, okay, well, I've seen 13 Level 42 and Mark King shows over the years, so we'll see, won't we? Anyway, so me and the drummer from Uncle Funk, we perched ourselves, I don't know, about 3/4 of the way back from the front. So we weren't on the very back, but we were about 10, 15 feet in front of the sound desk as the slope goes down, because it was all standing in the stalls. And we had amazing sound, amazing lights, and the band were just absolutely on fire, I have to say. I've seen, Mark never gives a substandard performance, but I have seen gigs where I just thought he looked a bit bored, or he'd got to the end of a tour and it was just like knackered. The guy's 65, you know, and he was fired up on Saturday. Maybe it's the Hammersmith Odeon effect, I don't know. But the whole thing, everything was like tighter than a gnat's chuff, really. And bass playing was fabulous. He had his new JD there, used that for half the gig. Used the red one, although I was too far away to know if it was the original red one or the newer red one that he got 2 years ago. And just great. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just check on YouTube, Level 42 Hammersmith 2023. There's tons of videos. There's loads of it on Facebook. Just outstanding. The bass sound from that new bass. When Mark is slapping, I want that G string. When he's popping the G string, I want that to take my head off. I don't want a subdued, muffly pop. And that JD just was like glass. It was absolutely fabulous. And I'm for my sins, I'm not the greatest fan of JD's. I love Mark's vintage tone that he used with those basses from 1981 up to 87. Love it. I owned a JD. I had a Series 2 from 1998 up until 2000 that I bought secondhand, and I absolutely hated it. I hated the sound, hated the playability. I could never get the neck to straighten. You'd get it right, you'd put it on and it had already gone again, and I spent more time adjusting the neck and sorting the bridge out and the frets than I ever did playing it. It was just one of those basses, and very lucky to have one in the collection now, which is on a very lengthy borrow. So there will be videos of this bass up on the channel imminently. Demo, review, there'll be a workshop bass as well. It's a Series 3, so slightly smaller body to the Classic, and but it doesn't have the slap groove of the Series 2, which would be there. But it's a fine bass, very good. Plays great. Needs a little tweak with the truss rod. Just waiting for some screws to come from the JD factory for the bridge, and that'll be doing a workshop video. So, but the gig was outstanding. Mark doesn't watch our channel. I mean, Mark's a busy chap, but any of the Level 42 guys, if you see this, stumble across the channel. I don't think any of them have, because I've never heard from any of them, and I know Nathan personally. But any of you guys, fabulous show on Saturday at Hammersmith. Thank you very much. It made an old boy very happy. So thank you very much. Let's have a look at the messages here. Stacey, it's a website link above. It won't link out. That's right. Yep. Andy, got 2 sweet new pedals. Excellent. Which are worth considering on anyone's board. The Boss BC1X and the SY1. I'm guessing the SY1 is a bass synth. The BC1X, I haven't got a clue. Is that the compressor? Let me know, Andy. I was listening to PB Underground. Yeah, Pete Ray Biggins band over the weekend. Pete Ray Biggins is a shockingly good drummer. Yes, he is. I know loads of Level 42 fans have a real mental block with him and his style. It is what it is. If Mark likes him, he's in the band. That's it. You can gripe about it on Facebook all you like. It's not going to change. Andy, that new JD looks amazing. I'm playing now. It doesn't feel such a burden as my old one did. Maybe the fact that I've got a couple of alembics has got me used to larger bass bodies, longer necks, but it's 21, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 21 fretter. So it's not 24 frets. The 24 fret version is the GA24, which is the George Anderson signature. But I can highly recommend the Series 3 because it's a slightly compressed body. The Series 2 is like a longer body. The Classic is wider across all of its curves, but the Series 3 is a little bit more snug. You might like one. Check one out if you get the chance, Andy. Visog, evening. Good to see you. They were great, weren't they? Drummer was phenomenal. Great arrangements too. Yes, the lovely thing with Level 42 is every tour they tweak a couple of the songs, so they aren't always playing the same version. And I have to say, Hot Water's arrangement now is very snappy. There's none of the drawn out, like something that might have been 16 bars is now 8. They fit it all in, but it still ended up being about 7 minutes long, which is great. Good to hear Heathrow, always. World Machine, hadn't heard that for a while. What else was there? Kansas City Milkman, of course. Love meeting love in the Kansas City Milkman. And it felt weird, actually. My mind kept going back to 33 years ago. I was in that very same building above where I was standing, and they did Love Meeting Love Kansas City Milkman then. So, you know, outstanding. Just really great gig. And the lovely thing was I'd taken Ajit, the drummer from Uncle Funk. He didn't really know Level 42. He was more interested in Pete Ray Biggin and his drumming. I don't know if he knows any of the hits. He might have had a passing interest. So Ajit's 27, so Level 42's heyday long since passed him by. And after about 3 songs, his jaw was on the ground. He's like, he couldn't believe it. He said he shouldn't be able to play bass like that and sing. I said, I've been telling you this for 3 years. I've been in the band with you, and I keep saying to you, have a listen to this track, have a listen to this album. And I don't like force feeding stuff to people, but I used to send links and audio off my phone and just say, have a listen to that, see what you think. Never listen to any of it. And after the gig, can you send me that track? Can I have that track? What about that album? Is that good? Yeah, it's good. It's all good. And he doesn't know who Phil Gould is, the original drummer. So in his head, it's Pete Ray Biggin. It's Pete Ray Biggin. And I said, well, you do know that Gary Husband Gary Husband was in Level. Yeah. All right. But he has no concept of Phil Gould. So he's got all of that to come. So I've pointed him towards the early tapes, Level 42, Pursuit of Accidents, World Machine, Physical Presence, double live album. So hopefully he'll be doing a bit of homework this week, because next time we have a gig in 2.5 weeks' time, pulling out a load of Level 42 riffs and you can play along. Next is the bass compressor. Excellent. How are you finding that, Andy? Because I know the MXR one has some inherent circuit problems, and I don't know if the Boss one, I'm guessing the Boss one doesn't, but let me know how you find it. Ben Kennedy, hi, how you doing? Had my first studio day on Sunday, just gone, and it couldn't have gone better. Excellent. Did you get the results you wanted? I presume you, by first studio day, I presume you mean recording day. Stacey, Heathrow is always a treat. It is fabulous. Lovely feel. It's so Stanley Clarke, that feel. But Visog, 33 years ago, Alan Holdsworth gigs. Yeah, you saw one of them. I saw the very first one, which was at Cardiff University on the 1st of December 1990. So before that run of 15 nights at Hammersmith in December 1990, Level 42 did 3 warm-up gigs. The first night was Cardiff Uni, second night was Leeds Uni, third night was Norwich UEA, and I saw the Cardiff one. So that was the very first time that we'd heard any of the guaranteed material. And yeah, Holdsworth strolled out. And I remember me and my mates going, oh my God. But as he was shown on that album and the gigs, he was okay. But if you listen to that Hammersmith Live from 1990, you can listen to the Capital Radio half recording, or there is that recording. If you want to find it, you just search for it on YouTube, or you can go to my bass collection video, and I've put a link to it in there. You can hear the whole gig. And although Holdsworth is Holdsworth, it's kind of not his style, is it? There's a couple of points where the solos just are like, it's not right, but we'll go with it. But his play, I mean, level 42 stuff, there just isn't a huge amount of guitar. There isn't. So Holdsworth was a bit, a bit of a spare part on that tour. I thought underutilized. They should have done a few. I know they were promoting Guaranteed. They could have done a few more of the old style instrumental things, and that would have sort of unleashed him a bit. But was what it was. But to see him on that first one, I remember we all stood there and went, because we didn't know who was going to replace Alan Murphy. The band hadn't done anything since he died, and that was a year and 14 months earlier. And there we go. Martin Fay, good to see you. Visog, I was at Hammersmith. Alan had a bow tie and a DJ one. Ben Kennedy, 100% was the band's first recording day, and my P-bass sounded immense in the control room. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. That's what you want. I bet the engineer was happy. He knew how to EQ a P-bass. Good, good. Good, good. I hope that setup we did a couple of weeks ago on my P-bass, which is sat here, hope some of that might have helped you, Ben. If you needed it, if your bass needed setting up. So yeah, level 42, outstanding. I even told Mark, funny thing is, let's think, where were we? I was on the tube coming home from Hammersmith, and there's like a bunch of guys next to me who'd clearly been at the gig, and I'm sat there. So on London tubes, when you go in the door of a tube, if you get one that's at the end of a carriage, there are little cushioned seats, and the window sort of sits in between the two. So I'm sat on one of these seats, and there's like this bunch of 4 guys. They've obviously been at the gig, banging on about the band, Mark, Nathan, all of that. And I'm sat there tapping away. Now, if one of them had cursorily glanced to their left, they'd have seen I was talking to Mark King and Nathan. And I was chatting away. Mark was in the dressing room. How's it going? I'm like, yeah, fabulous show. Outstanding. Thank you very much. So he made an old man very happy. He said, that's what we do it for. I said, exactly. I said, new bass sounds great. And I said, the band's gone up a level. I said, when I interviewed you in 2015, and Joel and I were sat in your kitchen, you'd had the horns for about 2 years. I said, the band had gone up a level. I said, it's done it again. You've just, wherever you were in 2018 when I last saw you, it's just gone up another level. So, yeah. So if those guys had even just looked left, they'd have seen I was talking to Mark on my phone. There we are. There we are. Ben, definitely the bass had the works done to it the day before, and the engineer was very happy with the tone. There was a big selection of amps to choose from. Excellent. That's what you want. Hello, Mum. Hope everything's all right down there. Down on the south coast. Yeah. So, all the Tuesday nights now, in the run-up between now and Christmas, up to the 19th of December, we're here. So the live chat's now revert. Last week was an oddity, to put it politely. So it was on Monday last week. Now we're back to regular Tuesdays, 8 o'clock, every Tuesday through to the 19th of December. Then we're going to have a little break over Christmas and New Year. And then we'll come back with live chats again in January at some point. I haven't planned it out yet. Thank you to all new subscribers. Very welcome. Hope you, if you're here on the live chat or you're watching it after the event, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for hitting the notification bell. Very much appreciated, of course. Thank you to everyone for the comments on the new videos, the bass string experiment videos. I'm getting loads of people because I kind of blanket promote it across Facebook, across all the different bass groups and what have you. And I keep getting people going, this is crazy. 39 shows with the same strings. And I've had to message them back, keep watching because there's plenty to go yet. I said those strings don't come off for quite a while yet. So keep watching. So hopefully there'll be, the next installment will go up tomorrow. I've been working on it today and yesterday. I had hoped it was going to go up today, but that didn't happen. So I will finish editing tomorrow. So keep watching the channel, social media, community tab here on YouTube. You'll find out when that video goes up. Don't think it'll be a premiere. I think I'll just put it up and see what happens, but it should be all good. So that will be gigs number 40. 40 to 44. So for all those people who have messaged going, I changed my strings after 10 gigs. Yeah, this is what happens when you combine a set of road sound strings with a status empathy. You can do this many gigs. And I'll say it again, I'm not light-handed with my strings. They got no cleaning at all. It was literally, those strings went on that bass and they just did gig to gig to gig to gig to gig. And we only finished, I finished filming it all a week and a half ago. So it's all done. I've just got to edit up the individual videos with the footage and stuff, and then unleash each one on YouTube. So if you've been following that series, you've got a way to go yet. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it will all be up before Christmas. So yeah, and then that's all tied up and done. And while that's being uploaded for you guys, there'll be demos and review videos. I'm going to put up a couple of interviews this month. Actually, I haven't done the interviews for a long while. They don't tend to get a lot of views. That's why I don't generally sort of hammer that side of things. But there's a couple of old vintage interviews. I was going through the vault the other day, and one of them I've promised to put up for a long time, but it seems suitable now as the 10th anniversary approaches of that interview. So I've kept it under wraps for so long, but it's probably time to go. I can't hold on to it for another year. So it'll be my interview with Jack Bruce, one of his final interviews he did before he died. We've just had like the 9th anniversary of him passing. But this interview that I did was for the 100th issue of Bass Guitar magazine at his house at the end of November 23rd. I remember it. It's clear as day, as though it only happened like a week ago. And it's a good interview. Well, I would say that. I'm interviewing him. But I'm going to get that put up. Well, it'll coincide with the anniversary, of course. We'd have to do it any other way, wouldn't it? But also there's another one I found with Barry from the Bass Centre. So we did an interview for the mag. When was that? 7 years ago. And it was it wasn't just an interview with Barry. We interviewed Tony Bacon, and Tony and Barry had written the bass book. I have iterations 2 and 3 on my bookshelf. And then there was also an individual interview with Barry about the Bass Centre. And I've had a few people ask me, you need to interview him or get him on a live chat. Well, I'm pleased to say, after last week's live chat, I was thinking about this, and I had to listen to the footage I've got, the audio I've got. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a taster of that interview from 7 years ago, see what the response is. And I rang Barry last Tuesday and said to him, do you want to do an interview? Would you do an interview? And how would you feel about coming onto my channel and doing a live chat? He said yes to all of it. He said, yes, let's do an interview, and then we'll do a live chat a couple of months later. I said, fine, let's do that. So I'm very pleased to announce that I'm going to be going down to the Bass Centre shortly, probably next month when I'm down that way doing some ABBA gigs. And we'll do an interview, an up-to-date interview. And then maybe sometime in the spring, either I'll go down there or he claims he's all right with YouTube. I said, so if I send you a link and get you to mount your phone, we can do a two-way YouTube live duo. And he said, oh yeah. He won't. So what I'll probably end up doing is going down there, setting up a camera, and we will be live. So it's like you see me here now, it will be the two of us. How we're going to fit both me and his hair into the same frame, that's a different story. We'll see how we go. We will see how we go. But he's definitely interested in doing it. So the Jack Bruce interview will go up later this month, and maybe even the early part of next week, I will trim this interview that I did with him back in 2016. Well, we're both scoffing a curry, and yeah, you can hear some of the historical tales about the Base Centre, how it happened, how that seed of an idea suddenly sprouted this huge business that, well, for the best part of 20 plus years in terms of a bricks and mortar store, was the pinnacle. It was the crown jewel in the British base crown, if you like, and it actually had tentacles that spread out around the world. You'd have bass players coming from all over the globe. If they came to London, they went to the Base Centre. Apparently, the Base Centre was part of the knowledge for taxi drivers. So people in America, the knowledge, in inverted commas, is what taxi drivers have to learn before they can officially become a taxi driver. So they wouldn't say, get to Wapping Tube. They would say in their exam, get me to the Base Centre. And they would have to know how to get to the Base Centre. So yeah, there you go. Other such gems will be coming out in that interview. Martin, I had an odd experience with rotor sounds over the weekend. Okay, was doing a setup on my Warwick streamer and opened a new set of RS66 LDs. Okay, the E string was literally black with tarnish when it came out of the foil. Absolutely filthy. First time I've seen anything like it. Right, put it back in the pack with the other strings, send it back, and they'll send you a brand new set. That's the deal. Don't use those strings. Don't use that E string. Just send them back in an envelope and they will send you a new set. Ben Kennedy, with the amp, saw a Trace Elliott cab and a Hartkey as well. Okay. It appeared to be the aluminium cones. That'll be those affairs. Yeah. Ended up recording through an old Ashdown Evo 3 with their 210H. My first time using Ashdown stuff. What did you think? If you had tried all three of those, Trace Elliott, Hartkey and Ashdown, you'd have heard all the tonal differences. All three of those products sound totally different. Totally. And there will be a Trace Elliott amp, actually a combo, coming in here soon. I've actually got it in my garage. I need to clean it up, get it all sorted, check it's all working, and then I can bring it in here, start doing some video demos with it as well. So you get to hear all of the basses I have here. I'm actually going to do a series of videos. I'm not going to try and bore you. I don't want to do like 10-minute videos each time, but each of the basses in here, running through each of the different amps and combos and speakers and stuff, so you can hear how they all sound different. So yeah, it's a little project for me after Christmas, along with the Fretless series, of course. I haven't forgotten that. I have a list that I'm slowly working through, and now that the bass string experiment is finished and all I've got to do is the editing of it, once those are out the way, I can start ploughing into all the other series ideas that I've had, of course. So yeah, it's going to be a busy time here on the channel. And all the analytics are showing green and upward arrows at the moment because everything is moving in the right direction. So where I'm doing regular videos, shorts, the live chats, it's all snowballing slowly, but we're getting there. And actually, I had a very, I wouldn't say it's strange, but I came across someone's bass channel today, an American guy, doing some really good work, really good videos. And I had a look on his videos. When you click on it, it'll show you all their past work. He only had 39 videos. And they were good quality videos. But he had something like 21,000 subscribers. So I thought, well, in that case, I'm going to look on his videos. He's going to have some that have actually, taken off. There weren't. I think the most watched video had 19,000 views. So clearly, either he knows a lot of people who just follow his channel or subscribed but don't get involved, don't watch anything. Or there's something very odd there. Maybe he did a load of videos and took them off. I don't know. But yeah, 21,000 subscribers and only 39 views. Well, I've got over 400 videos. Okay, a lot of them are short remixes of my longer form content. But I was like, wow, 21,000 subscribers off 39 videos. It's not bad going. But none of his videos have got 21,000 views. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But Dave, if you're watching, really enjoyed your channel. Loved the content. Thought it was fabulous. Well edited, well put together. Knew what he was talking about. Liked it. Very good. Very good indeed. No, it's my glasses. Are you guys seeing a clear picture? I've got what's playing here synced up on my laptop. It looks a bit blurry. And I haven't been on the source. So my glasses are straight, even though I've got varifocals. So are you guys getting a clear picture, or is it something to do with the camera? I don't know, maybe my Wi-Fi's... Oh, I know exactly what it is. My other half is trying to get Barry Manilow tickets. She'll have like multiple windows open so she can get the best tickets. That's what it'll be. It is a tad blurry. It'll be our Wi-Fi. When she comes off of doing her ticket purchasing, this will all clear up. Sorry. We're very limited in our bandwidth for broadband here in the lane where we live. We've spoken to BT about getting a better connection. They said you can't go any faster. You're on the ultimate package for where you are until we upgrade all the cabling again. It's not going to get any better. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very sorry. See, I've still got it blurry here, Martin. I don't know. Maybe it's a YouTube thing. Playing silly buggers. I mean, I've got a great picture on my camera. I keep having... So I haven't been on the source, but that's all like blurry. Looks like Lego. Very strange. But anyway, we soldier on. So here we are, Brooks's Base Corner, back in the house today. Not out in the workshop, in the garage. Live chat number 63. We've done 63 of these, I can guarantee it. And if you count all the impromptu ones, we're probably closer to about 90, maybe. Somewhere in that region. So thank you very much for following the journey, guys. Got you cleaning your glasses, State. Ben Kennedy was incredibly surprised with the Ashdown. It had a lovely warm bottom end, and after a brief EQ dial, gave me a bright top, which gave me plenty of room to cut. I think I might have been converted. If you get a good Ashdown, they can be great. They can be great. Generally, the Chinese-made ones aren't as good as the handmade ones from the UK. But unless you had a look at the back to see where it was manufactured, you wouldn't know. But hey, if it sounded good, go with it. Go with it. So yeah, if you've got any questions about bass guitars, amplifiers, speakers, combos, effect pedals, cleaning products, bass strings, gig bags, bass accessories. If I can help in any way, offer you some advice. Maybe you're looking to buy a new bass, new amp, maybe your gear's playing up, maybe you're setting a bass pedal board up, trying to set a bass up, can't get the neck straight. If I can help, more than happy to do so. That's what I'm here for. If I don't know the answer, I'll open it up to the floor, and one of the fine people here on Brooks's Bass Corner, one of the regulars, they'll probably know. So between me and them, we solve a whole heap of problems. So let us know. So yeah, so what's next on the gigging schedule for me? I've got a Queen tribute gig down in Exeter this weekend on Saturday, down in Exmouth, with This Is Queen. And then Sunday I'm going to see Marcus Miller at the Royal Festival Hall down on the South Bank. So really looking forward to that. Hoping to get to catch up with him afterwards. I usually do when he's in London. If I can catch his manager or the UK promo team, PR team, I can normally stick my head round the door and say hello and sort of have a quick chat with him. So looking forward to that. I don't think there's a new album pending, but who knows, maybe he's going to announce a new album at the gig. So this will be the first time he's been in the UK on his own steam since last summer when he did a bunch of shows at Ronnie Scott's. He was here in the summer on the Love Supreme Festival, but this is a proper show of his own. I think it's part of London Jazz Week, London Jazz Festival. So a whole bunch of shows over the city. So yeah, Sunday. So if you haven't got tickets or you want to go, Royal Festival Hall this Sunday, the 12th. Get there. It'll be great. He's always great. Stacey, wonder if Lewis Wingrove will make his appearance today. I have Maguire questions. I'm sure he'll appear at some point. Bless him. So yeah, so Marcus on Sunday, and then next gig for me is Mama's Gun, which is Andy Platts from Young Gun Silver Fox. That's his other band, Mama's Gun, who are quite a name in the Far East, apparently. Very big in Korea and Japan. And for those who follow Young Gun Silver Fox, I know young Stacey does, Andy and Sean, Young Gun and the Silver Fox, have co-produced and co-written the new Take That album. So congratulations, lads. That's a big, it's a big foot up in the business. And the new single, I keep hearing people go, you heard the new Take That single? It's really good. Well, it will be, because Andy and Sean are involved in it. So yeah, if you have a passing interest in Young Gun Silver Fox, the new Take That album and single, it's them involved with it. So that'd be why it's sounds different to regular Take That. And yeah, look forward to hearing the other stuff they've done. Yeah, and Young Gun Silver Fox coming back to America 2024, I think in the spring. So yeah, they're headed their way in February 2024. They're coming to Atlanta. Closest for you, Stace. Good. You have to get some tickets and go then. Kev Mack, have you checked out Dingwall's Rio bass they made for John Taylor? It looks cool and sounds nice in demos. I was actually meant to get one for a review, and I think I don't know quite what's happened. I need to give Sheldon Dingwall a tap on the shoulder about that. I suspect they'll send me one when the production models are coming through. And actually, they should be appearing this month. So I'll probably get lumbered with a non-raspberry, cranberry coloured one. I'll probably end up with a white, green or black one to test. But what can you do? I did actually inquire about buying one of the limited editions. And unfortunately, someone who was supposed to come back to me didn't. And before I knew it, it sold out. So there we go. Not to be, sadly. Stacey, tickets are £30 a person. Young Gun Silver Fox, that's a bargain. That's a bargain. You want to be getting there for that. Kev Smith, Mike, was down at the Cavern in Rains Park. Excellent. Saw the Steve Simpson Band do a Johnny Guitar Watson track. Real mother for you. Do you do this with Uncle Funk? The bass on this is great. No, sadly not. We stick firmly to the famous disco tunes, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately, it's not unfortunate at all. It's and we were having a discussion about this really, and if you think about it, there's probably only really 50 big disco tunes. So most disco bands are going to sort of be all over those big disco tunes. But no, we don't do that. I don't even know the song in my head. So, so I'm a bit croaky today. Not sure why. But no, we stick to the tried and tested. The only thing that's a little deviation from disco is that we do a 2-song medley of Basement Jaxx, Do Your Thing and Red Alert. So those aren't quite disco, but they're more sort of modern disco groove bass tracks, and they go down really well. And it just gets us out of that sort of 4 on the floor rut, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but actually we're going to be doing a load of new tracks next year, so looking forward to that. And there's another project coming out of Uncle Funk to get us into theatres a bit more next year. So the plan, well, it's at the planning stage basically, exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. The actual meat and potatoes of the idea is already there. Just got to wait for Simon to kind of sort of flesh it out, and well, I think we're going to be having a band meeting actually, I think after Christmas, and he's going to tell us exactly what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, and then we've just got to put it into action really. So we will see. Watch this space. There will be news as and when that's ready to sort of take place really. So yeah, that's the news on the Uncle Funk grapevine. So I was actually going to potentially put this bass on the workbench tonight. This is the Harley Benton Marquis bass, but I'm actually going to use it. I've got to run a Queen set for the next couple of days, and ABBA, because I've got a bunch of ABBA shows coming up. So I'm going to absolutely trounce these strings into the ground and then get this bass on a workbench. It probably won't be a live chat though. I might do it as a standalone video. We'll see. And then once it's all set up and ready to go, I'm going to take it on a bunch of Uncle Funk shows, see how it does, record it, and include it probably in the workshop video. So this is it being done. This is the setup, restringing, checking it all over, and then getting it out on the shows. It won't be my main bass. I've got I'm going to be using the Bootsy bass and the white GB Rumour for the bulk of the Uncle Funk stuff now, but I'd like to get this out and get some footage of it, see how it sits in the band mix. Of course, these are the strings that make my fingers go black. Andy, forgot to mention, saw Chic here in Australia last week. Excellent. Got to meet the band and got a pic taken with Jerry Barnes. Excellent, Andy. I bet they were tight. They don't do sloppy shows. Excellent. What was the sound like? Sometimes they can be a bit boomy, but if their sound man was on it, it'll have been fantastic. Have you seen them before? Or was that the first time you've seen them? Sound was awesome. Excellent. Yeah, Noel Rodgers, big influence on me too. How did that Aguilar setup sound? It's got the DB751, just as I have. Bass was on point. Excellent. Good to hear. Okay, we've been going for an hour. It's Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 63 tonight, all the way from London town here in the UK. Hope you're safe and well wherever you are on the planet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. If you've got any questions about basses, bass guitars, amplifiers, effects pedals, cleaning materials, how to set a bass up, good morning to you, Andy. If you've got any problems with your gear or something's not working, you're off to work, take it easy, have a good day. Thank you for your input this evening, much appreciated. Have a great day. If you've got any questions, anything you need a hand with, bass-wise, put it in the live chat window and I'll respond to it as soon as I see it pop up. At the bottom of the live chat window, you'll see an emoji icon. Feel free to give that an absolute pummeling. Next to that, you'll see a dollar symbol in a square. That's the super chat facility. That allows you to make a contribution to the channel if you wish to do so. You don't have to. The videos are free to watch and get involved with. But if you'd like to help keep Brooks's Bass Corner going for as long as possible, feel free to make a financial contribution to the channel using Super Chat. Or you can use the Super Thanks facility that sits among the icons below the video window. So just below, you'll see a row of icons with a thumbs up, thumbs down, share button, save, shop. Then you'll see a love heart with a dollar symbol. That's called Super Thanks. That exists on every video here on Brooks's Bass Corner. And again, if you wish to make a financial contribution to the channel, you can do so using Super Chat or Super Thanks. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell and you'll get notifications when I post up new videos or if I post on the community tab. And then if you'd like the video, it would really help. Likes are good, comments are good, comments in the live chat are good. If you're watching this video after the event, because I do get a lot of views the following day, and actually over a number of days after we do the live chat. So if you're watching this afterwards, please leave a comment or give the video a thumbs up. It all helps. It really does. For the sake of just clicking your mouse, it makes a big difference. It all feeds back into the YouTube algorithm, and then that makes the algorithm promote my videos to other people that might find it useful, or it might correlate with videos and stuff that they watch generally here on the channel. So the more you guys get involved in the videos in terms of likes, comments, all of that stuff, sharing any video here on the channel out to bass groups, music groups, whatever, anything that you do on social media, it all helps massively. So yeah, so that's kind of how that all works. In the description box underneath the video window, you'll find links to merchandise, Brooks's Bass Corner merchandise. I haven't got any on this week. I've got a Road Sound t-shirt on and an Aguilar hoodie and an Adidas cap. But Brooks's Bass Corner merchandise does exist. You'll find links in the description box for the UK and Europe store, US and worldwide stores. There are no promotions on at the moment. The last promotion ended on Sunday. There is a promotion on the 11th of this month, which is Saturday, 11% to coincide with the 11th of the 11th. So if you're thinking of buying anything, if you wait till Saturday, you'll get 11% off anything that you purchase from either store, wherever you are in the world. Underneath that, you'll find affiliate links for Amazon, Thomann, Gear for Music and Andertons. So if you've got a bass related purchase and you'd like to help the channel, click on one of those links, find the item you're after, add it to your basket, go through with the payment, complete the process, and then the channel receives a very small affiliate commission based on your purchase, and that all helps keep the channel going. Then underneath that in the description box, you'll find social media links for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now called X, of course, Be Real, Reddit, Quora, Discord, TikTok, and Threads. I'm getting that down pat really quick with it now. Oh. Strings are a bit dead. Now, I don't know what the strings are that came with this. They're not the Darios. They're just stock Harley Benton off the workbench strings. They're not great. They kind of rotate under your fingers. They could be Dunlops, actually. I'm not a big fan of Dunlops, but I know they do the same thing. So when you bend the string, as you bend it, you can feel the string turning under your fingers. I can't imagine there's a set of Dunlops on a Harley Benton bass. A stock, surely not. And there we have it. So who have we got? We've got 9 people watching at the moment. Welcome one and all. Hope you're good. I'm expecting a few more of the regulars to appear over the next hour. I don't think tonight will be a mammoth marathon session. It won't get close to 5¼ hours, which is the record. Oh. No, it plays great, this. Just needs a decent set of strings on it. Oh, and a nice thing happened yesterday for the channel. As I said earlier, when I'm promoting a new video going up, I kind of blanket promote across all the bass groups on Facebook. One of those groups is called the Low Freaks, based over in the States. Billy Sheehan liked my video, or at least he liked the post. In fact, he loved it and put loved heart. I'm never quite sure if Billy knows who I am. He knows me when he sees me, but I don't know if he actually recognises my name. So I don't know if that was a I love that post because he knows it was me, or whether he loved that post just because it's to do with Roto and strings. I don't know. But it was nice to see anyway. Ooh. It's not right. Hasn't come out for a gig yet. It's not going to be until it's been on the workbench. Yeah, twingy and twangy. Probably going to put some heavier gauge strings on this. I think it's going to be getting some 4505s. These are 4000s, so yeah, there's no way they're 4505s. A very nice thing happened this afternoon. There was suddenly a flurry of activity on the channel in terms of viewing analytics, and 12 of the Bass String Experiment series were being watched at the same time. It's a rather nice feeling, I have to say. It's exactly why I was doing that series in the first place. Try and it's probably going to be probably about 30 videos all told once it's all uploaded and completed, and yeah, hopefully it generates people watching several episodes on the fly, so that'd be good. They're twangy enough for both types of music, country and western. Exactly, you know the deal, Martin Fay. I don't know why I'm chesty and husky today. Don't know. I've kept hydrated all day. I can feel it. Feel it in the throat. It's not the cold coming back. I kicked that weeks ago. Could just be a change in the weather. It's suddenly gone cold here, so the air pressure's changed. That's it. They're twangy enough for both types of music. Good isn't the word. Correct. So when did you buy those Rotosound strings, Martin? Have they been in your box for a while? Or did you buy them like new recently to put on that bass? Very weird that you get one totally corroded, especially since the foil packaging came in. No, unless there was a puncture in the packaging, maybe. They certainly shouldn't have been black. Wouldn't have left the factory. They're put into the packets by hand, so yeah, there's no reason why that would happen. But it's not good. So send that back. Send the whole set back. They'll send you a new one. And if you can tell them when you bought the strings and where from, they can look into it in case more occur. Not long ago, bought in April. Couldn't find any punctures on the packet. Was there a packet of silica gel in there? There should be a little white packet of silica gel. I'm bemused. Yes, there was silica. I don't know then. Just stick them in an envelope with a letter, covering letter. Just send them straight back. Martin. What am I on about? Jason or Jack will sort it out for you. Stacey, could be a bad lot for sure. Anything's possible. Well, this is what I'm saying. If you can remember where you bought them from, they might have had other customers with a similar problem. They can track it down to a certain batch. But I can't imagine they would have left the factory like that. I've never had a foil packed pack with any problems. The one the other week, as you saw, out the cardboard box with the paper envelopes, those are gone, but they were probably 15 years old. So, Stacey, storage issues where they were bought from, maybe. Not unless there was a hole in the packet. That's the whole point of the foil packaging, is that there's no humidity or like moisture in the air can get into them. So unless there was just like a perforation somewhere, or I don't know, shouldn't be black though. That's when they're old, like the 15-year-old set. Yet you saw I put a set of piccatos on the Precision, and I do on the G. Oh no, GB had rotos on already. Those piccatos are easily 10 years old, if not more. and they didn't go that way. So, yeah. I'm flummoxed, Martin. But anyway, send them back to Rotor Sound. They'll sort it out for you. Not a problem. They're very good like that. There we are. So what gigs have people got coming up? Whether you're going to see a gig, play a gig? Anyone got any auditions coming up? Anything you've seen on the channel you've particularly liked or would like to comment on? Martin, I emailed them, got a reply back from Jack, asked for photos of the strings and a receipt, which I have. I'm sure they'll sort it, but it was very odd. Yeah, they will sort it. Won't be a problem. They're very good like that, I have to say. I have my bag of purchases from Friday just sat over there. There's no point in me showing you. It's just 15 sets of the same thing. But they were, as you know, if you saw the workshop videos the past couple of weeks, I'd run out of 4505 Rotor Sound. So I needed some sets of those. So I bought 15 sets. Not cheap. Certainly not cheap. That's for sure. But yeah, I've got enough there now to go for a while. But I'm trying to use up my older strings, not just Rotor Sounds, but my older strings, piccatos, other things I've been given along the way, just to try and clear the decks a bit. But having said that, now that I'm not tied to using one bass, certainly for Uncle Funk, some of the other basses can come out and get used, so I can start rattling through the string supplies, because there's a few basses are going to need string changes soon. Yeah, we will see. We will see. Especially if you're getting north of 70 gigs out of each packet. No, that won't be happening again. Not in a long while. Unless I do a series to see if I can get set strings to do 100 gigs. That's possible. But no, I normally change my strings after about 20-25 shows. That set were remarkable. But that was the idea. How long could we get them to last? They could have carried on going, to be honest. If I wasn't I won't say pernickety, because that's not the case. If I was pernickety, they'd have come off after 20 gigs. But it just got to the point I couldn't, with the greatest integrity, have kept using them. The tone had just dropped too much for my personal level of acceptance. I couldn't carry on. Snap, that would be something to find out. Yeah, if we can do 100 gigs with a set, we probably could, but I'd probably end up with the same problem, is that there does come a point where they just tail off. Now, had I not had to do any slap stuff, because I kept saying over the latter weeks of that playing forget-nots was a real bind by that point. It was hard work. And actually the last gig I played it all fingerstyle, which completely ruined the feel of it, because there was just no bounce back in the strings. You'd hit them and not great. As I said, for one set of 20 to 25 pound strings to last that long, some feet that thinking they could crap out on you at any point is a little disconcerting. Well, that was the that was the point I was at, Stace. I was not sure. I couldn't be sure that they were that they would continue without causing me a problem. I just didn't want to be in that position, and especially now that we're coming up to coming up to Christmas, and I've got quite a few Uncle Funk gigs and ABBA gigs. I couldn't be doing an ABBA gig in a big theatre. No strings go. I wouldn't make it out of the theatre alive. So, no, that wasn't going to be an option, to be honest. And bearing in mind, at gig 60, I was on an ABBA gig, and I said, I don't think these are going to last very much longer, if at all. Then 6 weeks later, I did another ABBA gig, and they were still going. So, but I just thought, if we wait till December, it's an accident waiting to happen. And I just did not want to be in that position. The 70, I thought I was aiming for around 75, but 73, that gig, it was just like, they just sound dreadful. But people that heard it on the demo, on the live chat, and I did that impromptu live chat a couple of nights before that as well. They didn't sound that bad, but when you're on in-ears and there's no amplifier, and they just sounded not rotten, but there was no life to them. They just got to that point. For me, for my preference, they just got to that. I couldn't I couldn't justify them sounding like that and feeling like that either. They weren't fun to play at the end, put it that way. So there's a lot of gurgles going on here. I had my dinner not too long before we went live tonight. Every time I have a drink, it's like the sludge tube. So would you like more of the live chats done from the workbench, or are you quite happy with it all being done in here? I did put this out as a poll on a community tab post yesterday, and only one person responded and said, no, I prefer it when you're doing them here in front of the amps and the guitars and stuff. I was like, okay. But no one else responded, so I didn't think that was a suitable representation of the audience here on the channel. Kev Smith, Mike, have used bass center strings. They're still under 20 quid. Yeah, but I'm a rotor sound endorsee. That's the thing. And my personal preference is rotor sounds. I used to have a bass center Elites deal back in 1997. And then someone handed me, in fact it was Lee Pomeroy, handed me a set of Piccatos, and that changed everything. I love the Piccatos to death. But by 2014, 2015, Piccatos, the quality of the strings were going downhill, and also the company was about to stop. Caps don't half make your hair itchy. and the quality of the strings went downhill. I got quite a lot of sets with dead E and A strings in, so that was an indicator it was time to move strings. And I ended up, I've relayed this to you before, but I ended up spending about £400 of my own money in the early part of 2015 on loads of different makes and types of bass strings, because I thought it was probably time to move on, find another type of string. And Rotor Sounds just worked the best for me across the bulk of the basses I was using for gigs. And I've always got on well with Jason, and he liked the work I did with the magazine. And so I approached him for an artist endorsement, and that was that. But obviously I'm very good friends with Barry, and you know, Bass Centre Elites, fine strings, just not my preference. That's not to say I don't like them, that's not the case. I used them exclusively from now 1989 up until 1997. They were my strings of choice, and like I say, I had a deal for about a year, and then Picatos came along, and that was that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Stacey, I do enjoy the Workbench location live chats. Well, we'll do some more, as and when each bass needs to go in there. The basic premise I've done this by is, if I haven't already done a Workbench video as a separate entity, not as a live chat thing, then that comes first. So like with the Marquis bass, that will get a video on its own. But if I've done that particular bass already, then that's when it can be on a live chat one. So I'd already done the precision. The GB didn't really get a full setup. It was just a bit of a tweak. The Bootsy bass, clearly that should have probably been a video on its own accord, but I needed to get it set up, and I was running out of time that week to get it done before the gig approached at the end of that week. So that just had to be done on the live chat one, I think. But that's okay. When you need to... Wish YouTube would move that flipping icon emoji, but when you need to pull the bass from the rack, this locale makes sense. Yeah. Oh. It's hard playing it when the neck's at such an angle. That's why when you see me playing and we're on the workbench and I have to play with the bass like that, you get all bum notes. Why do you get bum notes when I'm playing it normally? So don't worry about it. Strings on here aren't the greatest either. Do the tune up actually. So it will be good. There's the culprit. The A strings out. And the E. There we go. Very good. Of course, spent years of my life playing that when I was a kid. I enjoy the occasional chat from the workbench. They're always interesting. I think this is still a bit better format in general though, especially if you can entice a guest or two. I'm working on it. Trying to get people to commit. They'll do it, and then like a week before oh no, I can't do that night. It's like, yeah, but that's the only night that we do them, Tuesdays. I can't do that. We will see. Leave it with me. I'll put more feelers out. The only problem we got is as we get closer to December, players get really, really busy. However, Tuesday nights aren't generally that busy for people, so leave it with me. I will try. Ooh. Yeah, we've all done it. There was a time that was the thing. Machine gun popping. Got to slow it down. Do it really slow and then you build it up. And then eventually you get to. And you can go fast as you like. Not that anyone asks for it these days. Martin, how are you getting on with that Empress compressor pedal? I was looking at one online earlier. Any shortcomings? I'm just frolicking, don't worry. Martin, no shortcomings that my clothiers can determine. It's almost an always-on pedal. The board, very pleased with it. Excellent. Okay, I've got a couple of compressors I'm going to start dragging out for certain things in the Uncle Funk set. If they don't do the job, I might well have to look at one of those Empress pedals. It seems to have the flexibility I need, not just 2 or 3 controls. This is what a lot of the other compressors tend to be like. So, it's a very clear, detailed, hi-fi type of sound. No soft, fuzzy, faux tube type voicing. Good. That's what I don't want. Should be good in the Uncle Funk scenario. There we go. Music to my ears. There's going to be a massive rebuild of my Uncle Funk pedal board once we get Christmas out of the way. And I'll give the pedal train board and the smaller board a bit of a change around, I think. I need to get I need to get a good fuzz on both boards, and thankfully I've got about 4 or 5 different fuzz pedals, but yeah, and there's all these other pedals that I haven't even got out the box yet. Time to get them involved in proceedings. Cool. Sloppy. Oh. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I like it. So this one will be coming out this weekend for the Queen's shows. And then my other Precision's over there that needs a little tweak. I didn't think it justified having a whole workshop video focused on it. See, this plays great now. Let's give it a tune up actually. Mike, have you tried an HX Stomp at any stage? Yes, I had one here for review. We did a big feature on Yamaha back just as the lockdown hit. It was a thing called what we call an advertorial. So it's not a standard review. It was actually a big feature on Yamaha. And it was Yamaha, Ampeg and Line 6 because they all came under the Yamaha umbrella. So it's a feature that they paid for. So in theory, you can't slag anything off, but the gear was so good, I didn't need to slag anything off. Not that I tend to do that. I'll always look for the positives in a piece of gear rather than write it off as being dreadful. But anyway, one of the things that came was an HX Stomp, and I spent probably about 3 weeks with one. I wasn't using it on gigs, it was just here at home. Yes, very nice piece of kit, very good. The only thing is really, and at that time there wasn't loads of profiles up for it, there's not a lot of bass stuff on there. There's really a lot of stuff for guitar players. Yes, you can make use of the compression and the EQ and cabinet simulations, but there just wasn't enough bass stuff. But I'm guessing now, 3 years on, perhaps there is. Have you got one, Martin, or are you thinking of buying one? Tune this up. Everything's off a little. It's all good. It's lovely. Martin, I do have one, and there's definitely a lot on there that works with bass. I just need to set aside a month to play with it. I feel like I'm only scratching the surface. You're not the only person that said that. Really, you got to address it in terms of what can it do for you, in terms of what you need it to do. So really, at best, my suggestion, and this is how I've always kind of approached setting effects up and what have you, is take a gig recording of your band and sit with it at home and play along with it. And when you get to the parts where you need to start kicking in either effects or presets or what have you, then you find what you want, because within the context of how the band sounds, that will determine whether it's right or it's not. So it's a case of sitting with it and having the time to do it. How many people have bought HX Stomps or even just Helix units and then sold them on because they just have not had the time to sit? And it's the same with anything. These boxes have got so much to do, or their capabilities are so huge that unless you sit there and do it, and it's not like having independent effect pedals and twiddling knobs. You've actually got to go into the profiles and start changing the characteristics. And personally, I'm quite happy with my little setup and my bigger setup. And for IEM stuff, my little board is fine. But For some people, they want absolute minimum smallest footprint, and that's why they use a helix stomp. So, you know, do what works for you, mate. But if you haven't got time to sit and get the best out of it, probably better off moving it on. But I'd rather you sat and got the best out of it because you've put all that money into it. But Ben, have you ever tried the bespoke line of instruments from the Bass Centre? Yes, mate. I've got a Betsy and I've got a white jive bass fretless. You want to see the Betsy? I'm sure we've done this. We've done this before, Ben. When you say bespoke, bespoke normally means custom. I haven't had a bass made, but I do have a Betsy over there. Let me get it for you. You can fire questions at me. Oh, yeah. Try and do it without knocking the tripod, eh? Right, mate. I've got a Betsy here. What do you want to know? Is that a tune? Not surprising. I haven't used it for a while. What would you like to know, Ben? Ah, we're sharp. There we go. What do you want to know, Ben? So this is the Betsy based on Guy Pratt's Betsy. 64 jazz, I think. Well, Martin, the Betsy is such a pretty bass. I have no need for another jazz bass, and I'm still tempted. It's the ebony board and the EMGs. The notes just jump out of this thing. I bet if you got one, you'd get rid of quite a few of your other jazz basses. Put it that way. There might be some custom option Bass Centre basses appearing here on the channel shortly. Highly likely. That conversation has been had. There was actually meant to be loads of Bass Centre instruments coming my way for review, but again, unless I stay on top of Barry and nag him, they don't appear. So I'm going to go down there and do an interview, and I've told him, get a load of basses ready, and either I'll review them while I'm here, or I'll take them back to mine, do the reviews and bring them back to you. Jerry Blair, how you doing? Good to see you. Martin, next time I'm in London, I'll make sure time to drop by the shop. They're not in London, they're in Bagshot. So west side of the M25, M3, down towards Camberley. It's not really a shop. It's like an office come warehouse kind of thing. It's not like the Bass Centre shop that used to exist. And you need to pre-arrange going there. You'll get a warm welcome, but you need to pre-arrange that you're going. You can't just turn up unannounced. Ah, gotcha. That's good to know in advance. Yeah. Kev Smith, no Babbage Bridge on the Betsy. No, you could have it spec'd. I could have asked for one, but I wanted the bass that I actually reviewed, and I'm quite happy with this as it is, thanks. The Fretless has got a Babbage Bridge on it. My arm keeps dragging on the strings. Ooh. Ooh. Steffi, better get going. Thanks for another lovely chat. See you all next week. Cheers, Steffi. Take it easy. Happy bass playing. Take care. Cheers, Kev. Take it easy. Have a good week. Catch you next week, hopefully. So we're just coming up on 2 hours here on Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 63. If you've not been here before, you're very welcome. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Please give the video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Cool. Need to get back in the woodshed, never mind the workbench. Ooh. Any questions about it, Ben? Anything you want to know? Can highly recommend one of these if you've not seen this before. No, it doesn't help you, Martin, but extremely good value for money. Superb basses, EMG pickups, ebony fingerboard, 1964 styling, adjustable string spacing at the bridge. Great. Ben Kennedy, have you ever used Betsy for ABBA tributes? Yes, I have. Yes, I did. I used it when we went out to Cyprus last year with Platinum ABBA, and I took this because it was one of the cheaper basses in my collection to take. The bass that I did want to take, my Ibanez ATK, I didn't have time to put a new set of strings on before we went, and the strings have been on there quite a while. And in the end, I thought, you know what, just take Betsy. Don't even have to worry about it. So I did, and it was great, really good, really good. It's a jazz, just does everything well. And then with the EMGs, it had plenty more balls. Can we say that? Balls, heft. It was great. No problems with the neck. I mean, it was roasting. It was 36, 37 degrees during sound check. Guitar player was suffering, fainting and all sorts, but the bass was great. No problem with the necks or anything. All good. Ked Mac, speaking of strings, why are Thomastic so expensive? You have to fire that one at Thomastic. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Unless they're wound by princesses or something. I don't know. I mean, flat wounds generally are more expensive anyway because of the amount of time that has to go into producing them. But I don't know why Thomastics are as expensive as they are. I don't know if that's always been the case or if there was a point where they suddenly jumped up in price. I don't know. I just don't know. That's the sort of thing you should stick into a base for them. And the big fans of Thomastic strings can probably tell you, if they've been using them for years and years, they may be able to say, oh, they used to be X, and then they became X times 3. I don't know. I've never bought a set, actually. I certainly didn't buy a set when I was doing my sort of string experiment back in 2015. Because predominantly people like their flats. I don't know a huge amount of players who use their rounds or any of their other strings. So, as I say, flats are naturally more expensive anyway. And that goes across most string brands. Their flats are usually always a lot more expensive than their sort of standard rounds. Ooh. Here we are, 10:05. We've done 2 hours and 5 minutes. So maybe we'll rattle on till about 10:30 and then we'll call it a night. Got any questions about basses, amps, pedals, gear, strings, gig bags, cleaning materials? Anything you've seen here on the channel? Anything you'd like to ask about Bass Guitar Magazine or Bass Player Magazine? Anything you'd like to ask about any of the workshop videos we've done over the past couple of weeks here on the live chats? Fire away, stick it in the live chat window. As soon as I see it appear, I'll respond to it. Ben Kendi, that's true about flat wounds. When I got the Rotosound 77s last year, they set me back 34 quid, but I wasn't complaining as I love the deep tones from them. 34 quid is a good price for a set of flat wounds, Rotosound flat wounds. They're normally over 40. They never used to be. They went up. All Rotosound strings went up during lockdown. It was a price increase. Martin, Thomastic flat wounds are so expensive because they can't be produced in normal factories. They are grown from embryos in secret laboratories in Germany. The worrying thing is I would kind of believe you. But then I know you got your tongue firmly in your cheek. Ooh. By the way, the headstock isn't white. It is the same burgundy mist as the body. It's just the light over there shining on it. Ooh. All those bikes. What bikes? Sorry, Jerry. All those bikes. What bikes? All those bass amps behind you, do you still use them? On occasion. At the moment, my main project is Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno. And we don't have any backline on stage. It's all IEMs. And I use a Aguilar Tone Hammer preamp pedal. So obviously I don't use any backline on that. But when I'm doing Queen stuff, Queen tributes, Aguilar backline, SL212s, there's one right there. You can't see it, it's right behind me. There's one there, got another one ready to go in the car. Aguilar amp, probably AG700, sometimes I take the DB751. The EBS stuff you see here, I used to be an EBS artist, endorser, haven't sold the gear. You're not going to get much money for heavy gear these days, so I'll keep hold of it until something falls back in fashion. You never know. The other things purchased for, well, on whims really. I didn't have a really great valve amp, so that's why I bought that when I was working for Bass Guitar magazine. And the SWR Redhead, Super Redhead, that's a more recent purchase because I never owned an SWR amp, and they have such a iconic sound. I wanted it for stuff here on the channel. Now looking back, I'm glad I've got all this stuff because it means there's loads of content I can do here on the YouTube channel, and I've already got it. But yeah, different amps for different things. I mean, this GK MB200 there, silvery looking thing, that's done loads of gigs in some very big venues with just a single 2x12 cabinet and more than held its own. You don't always have to have these huge Leviathanic mothership amps. Sometimes the small amp with a decent cab with some punch and some throw will do the job. And having said that, I can't guarantee I'll be doing Uncle Funk until the day I croak. The guy that runs it has said there comes a point where he's going to want to stop. So, but then when I do functions and stuff, not every band's running on IEMs. Some people want you still to take an amplifier, so an amp and a cab, and I have no problem with that, as long as I know in advance. Ben Kennedy, with the Aguilar Tone Hammer, are we talking the pedal? Are you able to get the full wattage power with the... I don't, the Tone Hammer pedal, I don't have the Tone Hammer amp. I have an AG700 amp, and I have an Aguilar DB751, which is the big, you know, battle bus amp. The Aguilar Tone Hammer I use is the pedal, which is basically the guts of a Tone Hammer pedal without the power amp. So yeah. So you probably might want to rephrase that question, Ben. If I've completely confused you, let me know and I'll explain what I use the Tone Hammer for. or the setup I have with Uncle Funk, and then it will probably make a little more sense. It's been about 20 years since I played that. Some songs never leave you. It's a bit hard on 4505, just sounds clunky, but it is what it is. Ooh. Let me get my slap chops back in. Jerry, what is it like using IEMs? Do you come straight out the preamp? Yes, sir. So I have a small pedal board. If you've seen any videos I've done in the last year or two, especially the impromptu live chats, I've literally just been using the small board. I haven't used the larger board for a while. So it's basically the bass goes into a Boss TU2 tuner, then into a Digitech drop pedal. It's over there. Then into an EBS octabass pedal, then into an Aguilar filter twin, which is an envelope filter, and then into the Aguilar tone hammer. It doesn't then go to an amp because there's no amp that I'm using it with, but a DI comes straight out of that box into the front house sound. On the IEM situation, so obviously I've got IEMs in. I then have an iPad on a holder, an IEM holder, sorry, an iPad holder on my mic stand. And on there, the app that we're using allows me to see all the faders for everything that's going on in the band. And from that, I can then set the sound how I want it. So it sounds like a CD. Not always. Sometimes it doesn't sound like a CD. And what I have found, I was talking to the drummer about this the other night, we went to see Level 42. I've noticed that the three sound men that we generally use all have a different sound when it's relayed into my ears. So some things that I've got on my mixer that are really meant to be really loud, with one sound man it is loud, and with the other two it isn't. So go figure. But that's generally what we do and how we do it. Ben Kennedy, that's on me. I'll give that another try. I meant with any of the cabs and heads you own, are you able to get the full wattage power from the heads? Still trying to wrap my head around impedance. Yeah. My Aguilar cabs, I think have 600 watts each. I could be wrong. If not, they're 5, I think. So it's the SL212s. Just go on the Aguilar site, Ben. I'll tell you what they are. The EBS Pro lines I have here are exceptionally loud as well. I think they're 500-600 watts each. Generally, I mean, I've had a few situations where I've run 2 cabs. I used to be in a Green Day tribute, and I used to carry 2 of these EBS Pro Line 410s around and stack them. Pardon my language, very loud. With the Fafner amplifier. But to be honest, it's very rare these days that you run an amp really hard. If you are, I mean, the only time really that I would run an amp hard is if I was on a festival and I'm using backline. Most pubs and clubs, you can't really run it that heftily. And most places, you're going to have reinforcement from the PA and monitoring anyway. So you don't need to run it like at full pelt. That was kind of in the good old days, like 20, 25 years ago, where you might play a really noisy pub or club and there was either no PA reinforcement for the bass signal or you had no monitors. Sometimes I did a gig with neither. The bass amp didn't run through the PA and I had no monitoring. And it was literally just, balls to the wall and you just turn up to create a decent mix. But sometimes you might be pushing your amp at 50%. But can't really say I ever really sort of caned an amp. I've never had to. The problem with the Aguilar stuff is, like with the AG700 and some of the tone hammers, you can run two 8-ohm cabs, but you can't run two 4-ohm cabs. So you either run one or you run 1 4 and 1 8. That's probably the issue that you're sort of talking about there. Jerry, can you recommend any good IEMs? Yes, sir. Are you talking about the whole setup? Or are you just talking about the things that go in your ears? Let me know which you mean. Do you mean the transmitter and receiver as well? Or are you just talking about the things that go in your ears? You tell me which you need to know, Jerry. Are we talking about the whole setup or just the things that go in your ears? The whole setup. Okay. So I didn't go for the IEM setup until early 2019, and I did one gig with a Queen tribute who insisted that I buy my own setup, and a friend of mine in another band had just bought, so this was a band that never had monitoring and he was just wrecking his voice all the time, and he'd gone for a second-hand setup off of eBay. So he bought a Sennheiser G3 setup, and I think he just used the earbuds that came with it, and he seemed very happy. And I thought, well, I don't have time on my side. I need to get something operational very quick and very easy, and I don't know what I'm buying. I have no experience of this stuff, and I don't want to invest a fortune on something I'm not going to use. Little did I know that as things move forward, I was going to be using it a lot. So I asked the question on Facebook, and loads of friends gave me advice and what have you. But it still came down to the fact I didn't have long before I needed this thing to be up and running. So I did the same as him. I bought a second-hand Sennheiser G3 setup off of eBay. Cost me like 300 quid at the time. You probably get one now for like 200, 250. But the advice I was getting from all my friends was some of them insisted you get custom in-ear molds done, but you're looking at 600 to 700 quid to get a proper decent set of those. But I'd also been on many gigs for about 10 years with lots of friends, lots of musicians who've gone down that road and then lost IEMs on gigs, or they got knackered, or the cables got knackered, or the actual ear mold pieces went wrong. And it seemed to be like a constant load of grief. But again, if you spent £500, £600, £700 getting molds done and these ears, and if it goes wrong or you lose them or you misplace them, it's a lot of money to get done again. And a friend of mine who works in a reasonably famous band came out with some very good advice, which was, your IEMs are only as good as the person mixing the sound that goes to them. So you can have £700 molded top of the range ultimate ears, but if the guy doing the mix is crap, what's the point in having them, really? And he said what you want are buds that have got 3 to 5 drivers in, because it separates all the frequencies, means you get a better sound. And he swore by, and I was quite shocked when he said this, because I thought someone of his caliber wouldn't have gone down this road. But anyway, he said, check out the Z10s, I think they are. They're Chinese anyway. They've got 5 drivers in them. And as he put it, if you break them, or they get knackered, or you misplace them, or one drops off, or whatever, they're only 45 to 50 quid. You just buy another set. He said, but the sound quality for the price is outstanding. He said you could go and pay £500, £600, £700, have the molded ones and what have you. But again, if it all goes wrong or something breaks, you've got to shell that out again. Whereas with the Amazon ones, you don't. So here we are in 2023, nearly 2024. So I'll have been running this setup for 5 years. Next year, early part of next year. Okay, COVID took a big chunk of that out. I'm still on that first set. I've bought 3 sets, so I've always got my regular set, I've got a standby set, and then I've got another standby set here at home. And I'm still on the first set, and they've been absolutely fabulous. Now, I'm sure if I compared them with the very pricey molded affairs. The other thing is, as we get older, so it's the same argument that I've had with for years, which is when you get into senior years and you're going to blow in like 20 grand on a hi-fi setup or what have you, and you're trying to buy the best components, it's a bit of a false economy because your hearing's going, so you can't hear the greater quality and the glassy treble and everything else. So you know, you're just spending a load of money for the sake of having it. And that's kind of how I feel with the in-ears. It's like you could go and spend 700 quid, but I can spend 45 to 50 pounds on these ones that I use, and they do the job perfectly. If I broke one, dropped one, lost one, the keyboard player walked off with them once. He thought they were his. And it's fine. You know, you just order another set and off you go. So that's what I do. So basically my whole IEM setup didn't cost me more than about 350 quid. I'm very happy with it, very reliable. I have no issues with it, does the job. I was always of the opinion that I would upgrade the hardware. But here we are nearly 5 years in and I haven't so far. So no, it'll probably see me out unless they change all the wireless frequencies again. But it works great. And then the whole thing with the pad doing the EQ, that's with an app. So I think we use MX32, and that just allows me to see the whole band mix across, I think it's 4 screens. I can see all the drums, the horns, click track, guide track, all the backing vocals, lead vocals, all the keyboard channels, horns, everything. And it's great. I love it. I just wish technology had been available at a reasonable price 20 years ago. It would have made things a whole lot easier. But there we are. Ben Kennedy, with any gigs I might be playing, e.g. pubs and music venues, I'd need an amp that could be loud enough. But all I know is that with an 8 ohm cab, a 4 ohm head would send the cab. I can't see what that says, mate, because it's stupid thing they do. YouTube, you need to place that somewhere else. Send the cab that amount of power. Yeah, I mean, I've standardized on 4-ohm cabs my whole career. I used to have a Hartke. Well, actually, this cab will be 8 ohms. I used to have a Hartke amp and cab. I don't. Oh, thank you. Cheers, Martin. Yeah, I used to have a Hartke amp and cab, and that would have been an 8-ohm cab. But back then, the brands that are out now didn't really have 4-ohm cabs. Well, the brands weren't really a thing. But once I went with EBS, those were 4-ohm cabs, and I kind of standardized on that. So when I moved to Aguilar in 2018, I just stayed with 4-ohm cabs. You don't have to, but also 4-ohm cabs are louder. And the EBS Fafners went down to 2 ohms. So you could have a Fafner or an HD 350 or a TD 650 if that's your thing. 2 cabs down to 2 ohms, lovely and loud. So I've never bought an 8-ohm cab since I had my Hartke rig. Let's have a quick look, see what happened in the football. So I know it's not base related, but got to do these things occasionally. Oh dear. Barcelona got beat. Atletico Madrid beat Celtic 6-0. Goodness me. AC Milan beat PSG 2-1. Holy cow. Man City beat Young Boys 3-0. Lazio 1-0. Leipzig 1-2-1. Wow. There we go. It's all going on in football. Okay, we're coming up towards 10:30. I'll give you another 5 minutes. If you've got any questions, any comments, stick them in the live chat window and I'll reply to them. If I don't see much activity, then we'll start winding this live chat down. There's only 6 of you watching at the moment, so numbers have dwindled. So what's coming up on the channel? So hopefully tomorrow, next installment of the Bass String Experiment series, which is gigs 40 to 44. You might want to watch that. There's some really great festival footage in there from Cambridge Club and Saltasia over in Malden in Essex. So at this point, we're in the sort of month of June. So we're, there's a right old mix of different gigs, different bands. It's a goodie. It's a goodie. So that'll be going up tomorrow. I'll try and get one of these interviews up, probably the Barry Morehouse Bass Centre one, maybe in the next week or so. There's a whole load of shorts I need to film and edit. Problem with shorts is they only last a minute maximum, but they take just as long to edit as a regular video. They're not quick. So I need to find a way to cut some edges off so that I can make it a bit more, I can produce in bulk. Do those things a bit quicker. But leave that to me. I'll sort that out. And then next Tuesday, we're doing a live chat. Where are we next week? That's 11th, 12th, 14th of November. Goodness me, it's flying by. I'll see if I can get a special guest on for next week. It's been a while since we've done one of those. Let me see who I can drag out of their pit and see if they'll do a duo with me on here. And I think what else we've got coming up on the channel. That's probably it. So I've got the Queen gig on Saturday and I've got to prepare for that and start running the ABBA stuff because that will be upon me before I know it. Next week, I don't have any gigs at all. First week that's happened since, goodness me, May, start of May. So I will probably have a bit of a creative frenzy where I record loads of stuff and then I've got it ready for editing up. So there's going to be some demos coming up, some reviews. I always say there's going to be some reviews and just haven't got round to it, but I need to get this Bass String Experiment series done and put to bed. So that's kind of my focus at the moment. And And then by the time we get to New Year, I'll start on the fretless series. And there was something else. What was the other thing I was going to do? There's another series thing I had planned. I'll have to go and look at my notes. But yeah, it's all full steam ahead here on the channel. So if you've got any bass questions, bass guitars, amps, effects, strings, gig bags, cleaning materials, anything you've seen here on the channel you'd like to ask a question about, let's have it. And as I get prepared to wind the live chat down, suddenly we get a whole bunch of extra viewers. Welcome. If you have a question, please put it in the live chat window as soon as you can. And no Lewis Wingrove tonight. I can't believe it. I'm mortified. Love your work, Lewis. Okay, questions aren't forthcoming. Hello, you lovely 10 people who are watching. Any of you have questions or anything you'd like to ask about bass guitars and gear or players or anything you've seen here on the channel, now's the time to speak forth in ringing tones. Kev Mack, if you were only allowed to keep one bass, what would it be? Not the first time I've been asked that, Kev. I think the empathy, if I'm honest. I think the empathy, it just does everything so well. I've called it the tonal battering ram. Not the first time I've said it here on the channel. It really is. I've never done a gig with it where it hasn't cut through. It's always solid. Actually, that's the thing, as I've been using other basses, you miss the solidity that bass has. The GBs run it a very close second, I have to say. But the empathy is great. But do you know what? I've got so many basses here that I always say there's no one all-rounder. No bass does everything great. But different, like I love my Kabikis. There's other statuses here. The Matrix. It's got Mark King's best tone ever, that bass. My Dingwall, you know, very different sounding thing to anything else I've got. My Alembics, they're, you know, the empathy can't do that. It can't do a lot of things, but all of them have like their own voice, their own tones and stuff. And that's why I've got them. You know, they all do something different. They all get used one way or another. Although, to be fair, over the past sort of 15 months, a lot of them have taken a back seat because with Uncle Funk and ABBA and the functions, I've been using just the empathy because that's what the series was based around. So, yeah. Hard, though. That's a hard question. Oh, sorry, Kev. I've misread it. If I could keep one amp. That'd be my Aguilar DB751, I think. Love it. I mean, the Mesa Boogie will run it close. That's got more tonal options, more tinkering on it. But for a simple amp that just sounds phenomenal, the DB751, hard to beat, really. I don't use it as much as I should, but to be, it's very heavy, and it's just so brutally loud. I remember not long after we came out of lockdown in 2021, I was doing an outdoor Queen gig on an outdoor stage, and I had two SL212s and I had the DB751. It couldn't have been more than 2 out of 10, and it was so monstrously loud. Everyone in the band was like, too loud, turn the bass down. It completely flooded the stage. So that was 2 of 10. Going through 2 cabs, it was absolutely flooring everything. But it's a great amp. I see why it's regarded as the best amp on the market, put it that way. Jerry Blair, can't wait for the fretless stuff. Yeah, me too. Because it'll be something very different. And also it'll give me an opportunity to start learning some stuff, which I haven't done for a long time. It's very easy when you're out gigging all the time that you just concentrate on that thing you're doing. I don't get a lot of time for sitting here and practicing, which is why my slap chops are so rotten. I used to be quite fluid with my slap stuff, but you just don't use it. And I've said it many a time here on the channel. When you're young and you've got time to do all that stuff, do it, because as you get older, you find things that sap your time during the day. So when you're younger, without loads of responsibilities, you got time to practice slap stuff and tapping and all that, go for it. The only words of caution on that are, it's very easy to get sucked into being a highly technical player with loads and loads of technique and a bit more technique for technique's sake, and you won't use it if you're going to be a working bass player. If you're going to sit at home or record your own albums and the whole focus is bass technique, then great, go for it. But if you're going to be a working bass player, a lot of that stuff you just never use. You don't. I used to practice all the technique stuff and don't use it. All those hours wasted. I would have been better off learning extra covers tunes and getting those in my vocabulary. But then again, what I did learn, I've made use of over the years. But learning 101 level 42 songs, yes, it got my playing up to a certain standard, but aside from when I played in a level 42 tribute years and years ago, which we did one gig, never made any money. It was more of a bit of a hobby at weekends for the whole band. Learning all that stuff, other than for technique's sake, never played them. Never played any level 42 songs in a covers band. Not as far as I can recall. No, but it's a lot of fun playing those songs. And it will give you a vocabulary. But, I was in a very busy working covers band for 17 years, and the only slap stuff I ever did was on Call Me Out. Other than that, no, not really. A little bit of slapping in Hot, Hot, Hot. So yeah, you can sit there and learn techie stuff all you like, but very often, what's your priority? If it's to have money coming in, putting money on the table, paying a mortgage, paying your bills, just be a solid, reliable, trustworthy bass player with a good set of ears, and learn loads of songs. That'll give you far more grounding than. But if you learn the techie stuff and you've got it in your arsenal that you can pull it out when required, if you need to, great. But you could spend a lot of time learning stuff that you're never ever going to use. So yeah, that would be my advice. Brooks's tip for the day. Depends what your priority is. In fact, if you're going to be a working gigging bass player, get your BVs right, get your sense of harmony right, and that will be far more useful to you, and it will open up far more working opportunities as well. There you go. Okay, on that note, I think we're going to wind tonight's live chat down. So it's 22:41, 22:11. So we've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you for all the input tonight. Thank you for all the questions, all the comments. Very much appreciated. Good to see you. If you aren't already a subscriber to the channel and you've enjoyed the video, enjoyed the live chat, then please hit the subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell so you get the notifications when I'm posting up new content. And please give the video a thumbs up if you would be so kind. It really makes a big difference with the algorithm and the way YouTube views the channel and the videos and all of that. So everyone's saying good night. So on that note, have a great week. I will catch you next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, same time, same place. New video up tomorrow, bass string experiment, and keep an eye out for some new shorts and possibly a demo or two as well. On that note, take it easy. See you soon. All the best.